Our minds have a creative energy which interprets sensory information from the environment and reconstructs it as an internal picture. Coherence, which arises from the principle of self-awareness, happens when that mind receives such a sensory image and marks it by a demarcation of boundaries which define it as an object of its cognition. It then draws on its memory to organize it in the context of its contents. When the mind is cognizant of an object, it's actually reconstructing it. That is a thought form. Simple objects which are not conscious, such as a rock, form simple thought forms. Complex objects which are conscious form more complex thought forms with which we have a complex relationship. An object which is itself sentient and aware of us scrutinizing it, such as a human being, forms the most complex type of thought form that we are capable of presently discerning. Even when the physical object is not present in our environment, we can recall the thought form in our relationship to it. For example, when we are hungry and desire a banana, our brain may receive some impulse from the body that's short on potassium. The unconscious mind then dredges up the thought form of banana and seeks to actualize its desire by finding one to eat. This is a crude example of how thought forms with which we have simple relationships may possess us. Perhaps similarly, when the homeostasis of the earth is in disarray, it summons up thought forms from its memory, the collective unconscious, in this way, in the form of social archetypes which are needed. When we have a highly developed psychic relationship with someone we miss, for example, like a romantic partner, and recall them in our minds, the cascade of associations in our psyche is certainly very complicated and speaks to a more complex process of actualization. Indeed, that deep-most unconscious yearning for a partner seems to be the main driving force of life for self-actualization. To pass through the ultimate rite of passage manifests itself completely through mutual revelation between partners and pass on its genes. We both create thought forms and are influenced by thought forms, or ideas, generated by others. Human consciousness can then be said to take place in a veritable mental battleground of thought forms. The complex roles that emerge out of the blueprint of our human society, which is formed from the relationships that we have from one another and our ideas about them over human history, have given birth to the powerful thought forms which we call archetypes, which seem to have a life all of their own. The wish-fulfilling nature of our imagination, our desire to know and be known, and to express ourselves has created these familiar archetypes which move the world on a grand scale over time, such as the conquering hero, the despotic warlord, the prophet, the explorer, the rock star, the innovator, or the businessman. All of these are arrayed from the midst of that collective unconscious which acts as a storehouse of past psychosomatic impressions which have generated the story of our human drama and made it coherent for us. Like the